Since a couple of years ago, we have heard about AI everywhere, from social media and streaming services to self-driving cars. But with all these advancements in AI technology, we wonder, what will video games of the future look like with this new technology? In 40 years, graphics in video games have gone from this to that. Since then, many resources have been going into finding the best way to make video games look more realistic with the least amount of resources used as possible. Since February 2019, we now have had access to a new technology called Deep Learning Supersampling, or DLSS for short, developed by NVIDIA. Basically, what they do is teach the AI what the game looks like at maximum resolution. Then, when you are playing the game, the AI alters the graphic in real time from a lower rendering version of the game to the best looking graphics. That allows players with less powerful machines to play games at maximum resolution and with a decent FPS. This technology is becoming more popular, with AMD following suit with their Fidelity FX Super Resolution tech. It wouldn't be a stretch to imagine something similar in a couple of years with a wider range of hardwares and games, including mobile gaming, VR, AR, and even console gaming. That could mean that future versions of the Oculus Quest, the Nintendo Switch, or the Steam Deck could run games at a higher resolution than they do now. Another interesting AI tech that is currently popular in the modding community is AI texture upscaling. This allows developers to take texture from old games and upscale them to a better resolution. So instead of having a texture in 720p like the PS3 games, you could transform it into a 4K texture, which makes them look sharper and more detailed. For us gamers, that means that future remasters will probably use that technology to make old games look way better. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is an excellent example of that. There are other exciting applications of AI for reducing the numbers of polygons required for a detailed model, like the appearance-driven automatic 3D model simplification from NVIDIA or Nanite from Unreal Engine. That means more beautiful, complex model for less power required. Even in animation, AI can potentially be used to animate models in a human-like way. Let me ask you a question. Are you tired of playing games with game-breaking bugs? Yeah, me too. Guess what? Some people found a way to train an AI to test games. The nice thing about that is that you can have multiple characters doing the level at the same time. Maybe we will see a day with games without any bugs. Who knows? I have something to show you. Check this out. This was created by an AI. Impressive, right? It says that it was arranged by a human, so I tried to hear how it sounds out of the box. It's a little rough around the edges, but it's pretty good already. Give it a few more years and we could have a complete original game soundtrack made by an AI. That will be especially interesting for low-budget indie games or to add more variety to high-budget AAA games. Oh boy, we got a lot of stuff to talk about here. The most popular AI that comes to mind when speaking about AI in game design is procedural generation, a technology that uses computer to create content. The fantastic thing about procedural generation is that infinite unique possibilities can be made with less than a life's worth of work from humans. An excellent example of that tech is No Man's Sky. The game developers generated an entire universe of 18 quintillion planets, which would have been impossible for a team of 26 even in a whole lifetime. That tech seems terrific, and it is, but there's a downside to it. It's tough to create random, exciting content. Computers don't know if players will like a specific configuration of objects versus another one. It only knows that the sequence generated followed the rules. For that reason, it's tough to implement in a game without the design feeling soulless or dull. A solution to counterbalance the randomness weakness might be possible in the future. Researchers are trying to teach AIs to create a Mario level that feels like a real Mario level. That goal is to make the level created by the AI unrecognizable from the original Mario levels created by humans. Right now, that goal has not been achieved yet, but give it a couple of years. We could play entire levels created from A to Z by an AI with the same flavor as previous levels designed by a level designer. But if those levels are based on previous work, does that mean that we'll just get a rehash of the same content over and over again? Yeah, probably, but I think it will be used in conjunction to human-created levels until the AI can generate entirely new ideas by itself. All the game's main story or essential elements will probably be created by hand for a while. The AI will complement the game by generating side quests, grinding content, and repeatable content. Another thing AI can do in level creation is to make the level harder or easier depending on your performance as a player. Everyone knows that a too hard game is frustrating, and when it's too easy, it's just not fun. That technology could potentially eliminate the need for in-game difficulty settings and adjust the game in real time to better suit the level of the players. Some ideas are being tossed around for games that focus on changing levels based on the player's action. We can imagine games with an entire living world, and if you hurt that world, the AI will try to punish you or try to reward you if you do something good. An exciting game in development that plays with that idea is Will You Snail. In this platformer, an evil AI tries to predict where you're going and spawn traps, lasers, and other stuff to kill you. If you are interested in learning more about this game, I really encourage you to check the developer's YouTube channel. Usually when we think about AI in games, we immediately associate that with NPCs. Unfortunately, NPCs in the last 2 decades have overall been kind of the same. When we have the impression that the NPC is more intelligent than another NPC in another game, it just means that the dev coded it to make it seem more intelligent. Still, ultimately they just execute the dev's code. But with tomorrow's technology, NPCs will be so much more. Released in June of 2020, GPT-3 is an AI that uses deep learning to produce human-like text. That AI can easily chat with an actual human without sounding like a bot. If you couple GPT-3 with a voice recognition software and an AI voice actor service like Replica, you get this.
Hello, Bobby.
What do you want?
Where are you going?
I have to go to work. I'm already late and my boss will punish me if I show up even later. Please leave. I can't help you right now.
Incredible, right? It's not totally on point yet because it's not in real time, so it's a bit weird and sometimes the dialogue makes sense but not really in that context. But even in that state, if you remove the delay, that is still a pretty good way to make non-important NPCs. Imagine if everyone in GTA had their own personality, story, and way of interacting with the world and the player. That would be insane. I could easily see that used in the future to add liveliness to a game or to have an AI as a guide character to whom you could ask questions about your quest or details about the different enemies in the game. That is captivating, but so far we've only talked about the dialogue. Another researcher made a game with a fox that can interpret your words and do actions based on what you ask of him. Imagine an actual NPC in a game that behaves like this. There has also been research on AI playing games like OpenAI 5 beating a Dota 2 Pro team in 2019, or these little guys playing hide and seek. In this video, you see 2 groups of 2 AIs competing against one another. The exciting thing here is that each team uses new tactics to overcome the other team by adapting their strategies. That means it is possible to create an AI that gets better over time in relation to a player's skill. The only caveat here is that there is a reason why NPCs are as dumb as they were 2 decades ago. Devs want predictability over almost everything else. Imagine playing a game and the super AI enemy finds a way to crash your game to win. That would be infuriating. When we find a way to better control those intelligent AIs, coupled with GPT-3, we will have games beyond our wildest dreams. Rivals that follow you in the story chatting with you about actual streamers. Foes in civilization from different continents that develop their skills depending on your skill level. We can even dream of an AI of the same skill level as an AFK player, replacing him during a match of an online team game like Overwatch or League of Legends. The possibilities are endless. Thank you a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.